I am now thoroughly regretting my vote for Trump. I had no idea that this is where it was going to go, that this is what he was going to do. You see Cheetos up there? Hi, Cheetos. Who's going to feed him? Who's going to buy my cat food? Who's going to buy my kids food? I had an absolutely amazing position where I was able to basically have America count on me. And now that's been taken away. I no longer have faith in the economy. I no longer have faith in Trump. I no longer have faith that we are ever going to find out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. I no longer have that faith. It's gone. So you can crack all the jokes you want to. You can make fun of us all you want. But I was earning $45 a minute in hopes of figuring out how many licks it took to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. And now the world may never know. It's been a few days since I lost my job.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, starting at verse 1, and it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer him when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up, it's not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Giving all praises, glory, infinite honor to our power, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. That is all praises, blessings, honors be to the Most High. His true name is YAHAWAH, and our Lord and Savior, his name is YAHAWASHI, that's whom the world ignorantly called Jesus. Shalom to the Lord's elect, and much respect to the brothers that teach, preach, and prophesy in the true doctrine of YAHAWASHI. There's only one truth, and double honors to the elders, the bishops, and the apostles of the great millstone. That is where I learned this truth. And I want to thank the Most High, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Yes, and I just want to thank the Most High, YAHAWASHI, for giving me inspiration through this lesson. Yahweh willing, it'll be edifying and to the point. This lesson was inspired by a video a beloved brother was going into this earlier in terms of America and all the crisis and the poly crisis that is about to embark and has already began. And these people are starting to crash out and starting to lose their mind already. I'll play another video here, and I'll, Yahweh willing, this lesson will be edifying. Means Heavenly Father's will, this lesson will be edifying and to the point.
Never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
The past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000?
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
That's a huge hit.
That's a massive hit. Never thought I was going to lose this much money.
So now a lot of these people here that they're all telling you, a lot of these people there all voted for Donald Trump, and now they're regretting it because it is hitting them where it hurts the most.
I never thought that I would see a day where I would be rooting for a university above Donald J. Trump and his administration. But I don't recognize his administration right now. I don't recognize what's happening. How could Trump be such a free speech enthusiast and allowing these things to happen? Going after college universities, trying to suppress speech, while pretending that you're not suppressing speech, while pretending that you're fighting DEI. It's so messy. It's so obvious.
U.S. farmers are starting to regret their vote for Trump. from beekeepers to soybean to hay producers. All of them are starting to say, I never thought that voting for Trump 3 times would result in me losing tens of thousands of dollars. A beekeeper out of North Carolina says, yeah, I proudly voted for Trump all 3 times. I flew flags for him and put signs for him in the yard. But now I'm out tens of thousands of dollars due to lost federal funding and tariffs, so I cannot export my products, my honey and my wax, to other countries like I could before, and nobody's buying it in the United States. Hay producers in Idaho and Utah that export alfalfa hay to China are now seeing 135% tariffs put on their product, and all of a sudden, they don't have anywhere to ship it. They held it all winter in hopes of sending it off to China in the spring, and now China's not willing to buy. Soybean producers are once again being hit harder than they were in the first Trump administration, and China, for its part, has diversified where it pulls these products from, with Brazil becoming the #1 soybean exporter and other countries picking up the slack for honey, for beeswax, and for hay around the world. Now, China's doing a great job diversifying, and the United States has relied on exports to China for so long that its farmers are going to.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 37. It says, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. So this is the beginning of the end for America. And this is all these people, and you know how bad it is when these folks start to complain, because the Israelites.
I did. Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do.
If you could.
U.S.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do.
Because all these people proudly voted for Donald Trump, and now they're seeing, Trump sold them the lie of make America great again. See, and the Bible tells us in the book of Jeremiah, Babylon cannot be healed. So this is all the issues that are coming on America just now, because right now it's showing you that. Let's go to this article. I have so much to bring out here. It's that just trying to put this in a proper setup. Look at this here. It says, this is from Reuters. It says UPS cut 20,000 jobs. General Motors delays investor call as Trump's tariff create corporate chaos. This is an article. Today's April 29th, right? This is let's continue on. It says, let's start the article. It says Frankfurt, Stockholm, Detroit. General Motors, Kraft, Heinz, and Electrolux on Tuesday joined a diverse list of companies that have pulled forecasts for 2025 or slash outlooks as President Donald Trump trade wars sent a chill through the corporate world. General Motors also pushed its investor call to Thursday, pending possible changes to tariff policy. While delivery giant UPS said it would cut 20,000 jobs to lower costs in an uncertain economy in anticipation of a weak volumes for its largest customer, Amazon. You hearing this? You see, because this is all part of what the Lord is bringing to Babylon the Great. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. Let's start at verse 1. Open up at verse 1. It says, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. And that's prophetic, because why? China is not, them and America are going back and forth in tariff wars, right? Chinese are sending, the ships are coming to America in empty ports. That means that the products are not coming into America. The everyday household item that these people, from brushes to toothbrushes to combs to razor blades, all these things are made in China. And the Americans are going to suffer the most. It says, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. These are all code names for America. Gird up yourselves, gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. You see, that's what the Lord is saying. Your destruction is at hand. And like I said, when you see all these folks, these Edomites that are crying, they are the ones now that are feeling it the most, because the Israelites have been suffering for generations. You know, I'm not talking about your little Shaquille O'Neal and these sellout house Sambo Negroes, but I'm talking about the average Israelite have been suffering for a long time, right? So the Israelites know what it's like to suffer. That's also in the curses. They will be the tail and not the head. You know, let's continue on here. It says, this is jump to verse 14. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they have come upon the earth. You see, because America was that in that lofty position for so long. The Americans are the most proudest nation in the earth because they are always on top. They're the top dog for so long, but now the world is seeing them. They are worried. You know, like let's go back here for a quick second here. Like this is precedent.
Why
You know,
is the only produce in this store apples and oranges? Where's all the strawberries, bananas, and avocados at? Oh, excuse me, sir, you work here?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are all the strawberries, bananas, and avocados? Why is the only produce you have apples and oranges?
I'm sorry, ma'am, but most of those items originate out of Mexico, and ever since Trump put tariffs on Mexico, we've been unable to stock them.
Trump, yeah, okay. Listen.
I regret my vote. I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump. And now, in the first few weeks of his presidency, thousands of people are losing their jobs. I lost my job.
let me pause it right there. I'm looking at an article right before me from the Independent, and I'm not even gonna get into the article. Like I said, I have so much information to bring out, but I'm just gonna try my best to do it condensed. This is from the Independent. Just to read the title alone, it says Trump marks 100 days, has the worst approval rating of any president in decades, it says, right? But it's the lowest approval rate. All these articles, the lowest approval rate, because all these people, these MAGA crowds, the ones that are make America great again, they're feeling it the most. You know, there's people talking about I voted for my job loss. Yeah, they're feeling it the most because their arrogance and they're proud. You know, the scripture tells you what? Pride goeth before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. And this is the fall of the greatest empire on the earth. It is circling the drain. You know, let's listen to this man.
Job. I was the director of operations of Bear Studies.
And these people had lofty positions. That other guy said he was making a copious amount of money per day, per hour. The first guy, the second guy, he said he's making copious amount of money. This guy, look, top lofty positions.
For the last 4 years, we've been studying whether or not bears in fact shit in the woods. And now it's gone. It's all gone. What am I supposed to tell my family? What am I supposed to tell them? If you voted for Trump, I don't even know what to say. So fuck you. All the money being taken, all the jobs being lost. I don't know what to do. I regret my...
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 7. And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and upon them that hate thee, which persecuteth thee. See? Because when they were in that lofty position, they didn't care about the Israelites. They didn't care about the other people. As long as they had their wine and their steak and the best of the best, they're okay. Now listen to these people, you know, starting from the head apostle Tahar, all the way down. And I personally have done a few lessons covering these topics, even before DJ Trump was in the office, because they thought they were sold that lie. They were bought in that lie, that MAGA lie, make America great again, that MAGA witchcraft, that demon, you know, because that was sending enchantments, and they bought it hook, line, and sinker. You got all these people, from Latinos for Trump, Arabs for Trump, blacks for Trump, Chinese for Trump. All these people now, they're all regretting. Where are these people now? See, more.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump.
Say that again. Say that again. Let me hear this.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump, only because of my beliefs people around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted.
You can't tell me this man is not a redneck hillbilly. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that. You know, this is this book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. I'm going to pick it up at verse 17 because Ezra saw the destruction. He saw the devastation. He saw the calamities. He saw the death. He saw the famines. Because all this is going to lead to what? Food shortages. It's going to lead to sedition amongst men. It's going to lead to martial law, civil wars, civil unrest. This is the beginning of sorrows. Ezra saw that. He saw it. And Ezra was a just man. He saw the calamities that are coming on America and on the world. He said, certain parts of the world for sure. He said, woe is me. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, starting at verse 17. Woe is me. Woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? Imagine if Ezra is saying this. See, verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings.
Did not to vote. But people said you won't be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote. I totally regret this.
That's another lie they push. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. And another thing too is that yesterday, Canada elected now or selected, however you want to put it. You know, I always say presidents are not elected; they're selected. But Canada have a new prime minister now, Mark Carney, and the so-called conservatives, Conservative Party, the PC Party of Canada. A lot of those voters, they voted Democrat. They changed their view this time because they believe that Carney keeps selling them that America's not for sale and he's gonna fight back and he's giving them that fair speech. So the people who would normally vote conservative or NDP, they have switched their vote to vote liberal. Justin Trudeau, the previous prime minister, was liberal, and they're cursing. They're cursing how he has destroyed a country before. So Justin Trudeau stepped down or step aside, but it's all part of their deception. These people are on the same team. So Trump was endorsing Carney, and Carney is saying Canada's not for sale. Read between the lines, right?
Shouldn't have voted at all.
I've definitely changed. I think my positions have not moved. But I'm completely done. I mean, totally and completely done with the left versus right game in politics because it is now just so abundantly obvious that there is something much more sinister that is happening. But
now you're starting to realize that, of course, because you see, these are all the sellouts. You know, ultimately, YAHAWASHI, it is controlling the hearts of these kings, as it tells you in the book of Proverbs, the 21st chapter. You know, but the thing is that they are doing the work on the left hand side. Trump is doing the bidding for the elites. These people thought these average Edomites, average American, they thought Trump was doing them a favor, and now he's getting rid of all the so-called immigrants out of the country. So they were all excited to see them go, not realizing they're also is coming to their own demise. He is systematically destroying the economy because he wants everything. He's bidding for the elites because they're gonna push them in into a corner that they will be desperate. Problem, reaction, solution. You know, this is what is coming. Let me finish this up here. I want to see what else she says.
When we elect politicians, they're on a platform, they say this, they perform, they promise us this is going to be the mandate. I'm going to clean up DC. And then we send them to DC and something happens. Something magical happens, and suddenly that magical thing is that really nothing they said they were going to do happens. The world really is becoming a stage. Maybe it always was a stage, and like I said, it doesn't matter who you elect. So no, there's no pivot. Like, I wish it was Kamala Harris. No, okay, it does not matter who you elect. It seems to be the same thing that we see over and over again.
And this wench here, you know, she's now starting to feel it because she's just an opportunist, you know, sellout. But anyways, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, In verse 18, it says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. See, now they're all having sorrows. They're all having regrets. People are mourning. He says, what am I going to tell my family? The beginning of famine, because that's what it's going to lead to, and great death. Famine leads to death. The beginning of wars. Right now, that whole tariff back and forth, China versus America shifting, that is a tariff war. Eventually, it's going to lead to fire, a world war. It's going to lead to civil war. You see? And the powers shall stand in fear. These governors, they won't have any answers. You see in all these large corporations right now, they don't know what to do. Look here. It says all these companies from Amazon, General Motors, big companies, the barrage of negative news is more evident that chaotic trade policy is taking a major toll on companies, forcing many to cut spending. See, because this is all because the supplies. You see, a lot of stuff comes from where? From China. China's not shipping stuff to America anymore right now. Look at that. This is from Hal Turner. It says it has begun. Port of Seattle, empty. 0 inbound ocean containers, ships. Look at that. Empty. This is one of the largest ports. The image above is the port of Seattle on Sunday, April 27, 2025. Empty. This is the 4th busiest port in the nation. Inbound freight from China has stopped. Inbound freight from China has stopped. Inbound freight from China has stopped. Yes. 3 represent, I read it 3 times. 3 represents understanding. 1 is knowledge, 2 is wisdom, 3 is understanding. Do you understand what is happening now? These are all the plagues that the Heavenly Father is bringing. Supply chain disruption will now begin nationwide. The image below is the container yard at Seattle, empty. Look at that. Nothing in. America is the largest consuming nation on the planet. Yes, you heard that correctly. America is the largest consuming nation on the planet. Anyone who has spent time in Seattle can tell you that these docks are always packed. And the Puget Sound is actually overrun with waiting cargo vessels. Here is the marine tracker for Seattle. Waiting, 0 ships. Inbound ships, 0. 0. 0, right? So it says, let's go back to 2 Ezra 16. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. Evils means bad times. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, that for correction. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, because they're not even thinking of this. They're still in that lofty position. Because I remember going to America a few years ago. I was in Pennsylvania, and McDonald's, like the McDonald's down there, they offer like some ridiculous deals. Like you can get like lots of food for like under $10 or under $20, can feed like 4 and 6 people. They run all these different specials, because that is America. The over consuming. A lot of these people are obese. You know, everything is like upsell, like upsize. You get these large soda. You know, we call it pop here in Canada, but they get the large soda containers. Everything is upsized and supersized. So they're in a case where things are considered still cheap. You know, verse 21, it says, behold, victuals shall be so cheap upon the earth. And what is victuals? Like the things that we need, the daily products and stuff that we use, you know, products that we consume. Behold, victuals shall be so cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall the evils grow upon earth, the sword, the famine, and great confusion. Because they're not going to know what is coming. And I saw an article yesterday. No, this guy was going to a video. He's one of these like homesteader type preppers, and he was saying that you don't wait till all the stuff happens to leave the city, because they're gonna try to leave the city, because some of these preppers, they know what this is leading to. They know it's gonna be some type of civil unrest. They know that some of these people are prepping, but on a carnal side, it says, for many of them that shall dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And you see, this is what is coming, because it is gonna be a time, as it says in the book of Daniel 12 verse 1. It's gonna be like a time that has never been on the earth, never, because this is what is coming. You're seeing the average American. Look what he says. Americans are financing groceries with buy now. People are financing groceries. This is America. This is supposed to be the top dog in the world. More Americans are financing groceries with buy now, pay later loans. They're doing layaway plans on Uber Eats. More Americans are financing groceries with buy now, pay later loans. And more are paying those bills late. Another article tells you that so many Americans are behind on their mortgages. Look at this. A Lending Tree survey found 25% of buy now, pay later users are funding grocery purchases, with the loans up from 14% in 2024. Look at that, man. Look at that, right? It's just showing you what is coming. And you know, that devil there, Kill Bates. He, in about 4 years ago, he was deemed the largest landowner, farm owner in America, and he's one of the elites. So these people are all about control, right? They're controlling the resources. There was all this information about these farmers were being paid to destroy their crops. You see all the information that was out there in the last few years, not even that long ago. All these poultry farms and everything was just set ablaze with no viable explanation. Now they're talking about all these sick prices of eggs. Everything, the food is skyrocketing, because now they're talking about the bird that flew away, the FLU. They're talking about all these things that are coming, you see, because it is manufactured by the elites, but ultimately it is the will of the Heavenly Father. You see, this is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 13. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail. See? Through the blasting and hail, this is talking about nuclear destruction and the fearful consolation. But see, they that till the ground, their seed shall fail, because a lot of these farmers right now, I showed you one earlier back there, they're complaining.
More Trump voters are publicly regretting their vote for Donald Trump as he continues to back out of campaign promises and instead focuses on his billionaire friends. Now, first it was the Steelworkers Union out of Pennsylvania. Now firefighter unions in New York City are publicly speaking out as Donald Trump and Republicans failed to fund the 9/11 first responder healthcare program that is designed to help the first responders who are still suffering from being there.
The book of Luke 21 and verse 26. Men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. See, because they don't know what is coming. They know something is wrong, but they don't know. They know something is brewing, but they don't know what is coming for them. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Like, once again, that goes into your rulership. They wouldn't know. They don't know what is coming for them. See, because ultimately they put in all this stuff to what they're destroying they're systematically destroying the economy, because they want to push everything digital for that MOTB, Revelation 13, 16, and 17, that implantable device, right? Look at this.
I never thought that I would see.
I regret voting for Trump. You guys told me I would, and here we are, just barely over a month after he was sworn in, and I have so many reasons, so many disappointments.
Because this is all going to lead to what? The MOTB, This is the book of And yes, this is going to happen in our generation. This is the book of Luke 21. And let's continue at verse 33. It says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. This is what the Lord told us was going to happen. And we believe every word, because if you have the eyesight to see it, the true men of the Lord, the true prophets, are seeing the visions clearly, what is happening. They're seeing it clearly. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. And take heed to yourselves. Listen to this now. Lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life. Because people get so caught up in what is going on around them as a distraction. Just saw something recently. Oh yeah, last night, the beloved brother Rayab was going into TD Jake stepping down a week before the P. Diddy trial, and his daughter is stepping up to replace him. Once again, he know what demons is, what information is going to come out. So he's going in hiding. He's stepping down and trying to save face. And now he has his daughter replacing him in terms of things. But women are not supposed to preach. That's going off also. But anyways, that's another lesson for another day. Right? So let's continue on here. It says, where was I? It's verse 30. Yeah, verse 34. And take heed to yourself, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. So the elect is paying attention. The elect is paying attention, to see what is coming on this earth, because it's all prophecy. YAHAWASHI says, watch and pray. We got to pray every day to YAHAWASHI that we be counted worthily. This is why it says, give calling to make our election sure. It says, for as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the earth. Yeah, everyone's going to be tried. Everyone is going to be tried. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And this is the thing. That's why we always go into these things. It is all prophecy, but we got to watch and pray, and pray to Yahweh Shemi Shai Baba Kasha that we be count worthy. Let me go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3, and let's start at verse 1. A prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet, upon Shiganoth. O Yahweh, I have heard thy speech, and I was afraid. O Yahweh, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy. We pray that Yahweh Shemi Shai have mercy on us. And he said he will not leave his elect comfortless. He will be with us till the end. And those are the words that we have to take heart to heart. Because everything the Lord said it was going to happen is going to happen. He talked about all these things that are happening right now. He even talk about the unwise king. The Lord.
Hey, Mom, do you think that the Republican Party and MAGA are the same thing?
Absolutely not. I grew up Republican, voted Republican my entire life, and
because all this stuff is here. I see. This is let's go to second Isaiah the 19th chapter and verse 4. Because even Donald Trump, the Bible doesn't say Donald Trump, but listen to this, Isaiah 19 and verse 4, right to the point. And the Egyptians, talking about the Americans, will I give over to the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. And this is how we're at the end, right? Because this is that is that fierce Lord, that fierce king, Donald Trump. All these countries that were at league with Donald Trump, they're all crying right now because Trump is slapping sanctions. He's pulling back security. He's deporting people. So he's doing a lot right now. He's basically destroying. He's destroying his people. He's destroying the economy, and they can't figure it out. This is the book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, and start at verse 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of his people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. I don't have to tell you, look at his cabinet, right? It says an unwise king destroyeth his people. And these are his people. These MAGA people, these are his people. That was the one. I don't even want to bring it up right now, but all these people are voting for him. Yay, 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 yay. Trump, Trump, Trump. It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The city shall be inhabited. 2 years ago, last year, all these so-called migrants are coming into the country because that's the spirit. She asked, "Do you think the left and the right?" Look at it. Look what she asked. Watch here. Let's go back here.
Hey, Mom, do you think that the Republican Party and MAGA are the same thing?
Absolutely not.
So before the previous regime, Biden administration was allowing the people to come in by the droves, by the thousands upon thousands upon thousands. It was riling the spirit of these people, and all of a sudden, even the Governor Abbott of Texas was fighting the government, fighting Biden. They went to court to close the border. And they continue bringing in thousands and thousands of people. And all of a sudden, Trump comes and make America great again and trying to close off the border, putting barbed wire fences and having the military guard the borders and deporting a lot of people. So that's prophetic that she asked that question, because it's the same people. It's a big game, you know. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. See, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set one over it that is profitable. That is YAHAWASHI. See, but this is what YAHAWASHI is orchestrating, you know. But actually, you know what? Let me continue on, because it says I have a few more precepts here. I had loaded up. This is the book of Sirach, because this is why it's so imperative to pray, to fast, to believe on this word, trust in YAHAWASHI. Put all your trust in YAHAWASHI, because he will not leave us. Like I said, he will not leave us comfortless. If you're of the elect, you know, you don't have anything to worry about. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, starting at verse 9. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. See that? Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good. For we are creatures of hope, and for everlasting joy. Those when we, you know, and I say in the most humblest spirit, Yahweh willing, we're part of that number. You know, the everlasting joy, you know, to sit with our King, having those new bodies, salvation, never subject to death or disease, don't have to worry about paying bills and be in this oppression by these devils. You know, I said demons, but these devils. And for everlasting joy and mercy. That's what it's about. And here's the point. Look at the generations of old and see, did any trust in the Lord and was confounded? The answer is no. You have many examples from Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you know, Hananiah, Azariah, Mishael, you know, Daniel in the lion's den, Job, you know, Elijah, many, many, many examples to follow. Romans 15 verse 4, you know, whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. Say, look at the generations of old and see, did any trust in the Lord and was confounded? The answer is no. Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? The answer is no. Or whom did he ever despise that call upon him? See, because this is why we have to trust in YAHAWASHI. That is the only way. There is no other way. No other way. Trust in YAHAWASHI, because it is coming. Whether you listen to this message or not, whether you believe this message or not, it is coming. Psalms 37 verse 25. I have been young and now old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. See, that is the elect, because the Lord says he promised us in Isaiah, the book of Isaiah 65, I think it's 65, Isaiah 65 verse 13, he says his servant shall eat. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And that is plain upon tables. The Lord says, my servant shall eat. We have to hold YAHAWASHI accountable, because he's not a man that can lie. He's what he said he will do it, he will do it. So we hold these words accountable. We trust in YAHAWASHI with all thine heart, and don't take matters in our own hands. What it says in Proverbs 3 verse 5, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not into thine own understanding. Because this brings joy to us, because these people are miserable right now. When they had us in physical chains, working for them, working their plantations and everything, they were happy. Now they're miserable. Look at them.
Onto their skin, and it's going to make them a male. Here's your dead meat. It makes you a male. That's garbage.
Look at them.
Okay, so I voted for Trump in 2024.
These losers. Look at them.
Democrats, you were right. With all this shit going on in the news and with the stock market and this financial war with China, you're right. I'm really starting to regret my vote for voting for Donald Trump. I'm really starting to regret it. Not.
All right, this is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, starting at verse 27. It says, be of good comfort, O my children. This is talking about the Israelites now. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto Yahawah. Cry unto Yahawah, for he shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. Because we went off, YAHAWASHI brought the curses upon us, as he told us, right? Be of good comfort. Let's continue on here. Let me see. 1 second here. Let me lock something here. All right. It says, Salakia. It says, be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto Yahawah, for he shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was your mind to go astray from Yahawah, so be in return, seek him 10 times more. And this is why we got to say all the time, all praises, glory, honor to Yahawah Bashim Yahushai. For as it was your mind to go astray from Yahawah, so be in return, seek him 10 times more. For he that have put these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. For he that have brought these plagues upon you shall bring your everlasting joy with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, Yerushalayim. That's the Israelites, a people before us, a place. He that gave thee that name will comfort thee. See that? Oh, take a good heart, O Jerusalem. For he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Talking about the elect. Miserable are they that afflicted thee. All these other nations, see? And rejoice at thy fall. See? These people were happy when we were at the bottom. Now they're almost on an equal playing field. They haven't seen anything yet. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. Okay? America was built on the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom blood. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. See that? For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, it was glad at thy fall. So shall she be grieved for her desolation. Are you listening to this? For as she grieved at thy ruin, rejoice and be glad, O Edom. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, and was glad at thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. For I will take away, listen to this, for I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For her pride shall be turned into mourning. So all these people here, they don't know what is coming.
I never thought that I would see a day where
Alabama voted for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I'm so sorry I voted for Trump. I didn't know he was going to take away Social Security from 150-year-olds.
So, anyways, I'm going to leave it there. So, I hope that you've been edified. I hope that you got something out of this. Giving all praises, glory, infinite honor to our power, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, Shalom.